All right, all right. What's up, everybody, to the Code Red Anime Avatar series. And as you guys know, we're getting a new Avatar. We're getting, it's called Seven Havens, apparently, right? This is speculation, all right, that Korra fucked up, all right, and created some type of cataclysm where the direction that the world was heading to is basically like a new world order type. Now it's all split up. Apparently, there's wastelands everywhere. Kind of, how do we say it?
Post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic. There we go. Post-apocalyptic. If you don't really get the premise of that, don't think Walking Dead. Think Fallout series. Right?
Very much so.
And basically, it kind of sparked a conversation online about, who was the better avatar, of course, who was stronger, whose villains can defeat what villains and everything like that. And, there's a lot of controversy on it. Of course, if you're going against Korra, apparently you're a misogynist or racist, one of the two. And then if you go against Aang, you just hate Aang. So I kind of want to dive into it. So, Jared, we're going to start with you. Eric, we're going to get to you. And then David's going to speak on his perspective on, like, the series as a whole. And, of course, like, what did you like, what didn't you like leading up to this new series? So, go ahead, Jared.
All right. So, I'm going to start with a dislike going over to Korra, but, like, not about her, just, like, where they decided to go with the series. So, for me, obviously with Aang and his gang group, this is like before any technology, it's the old world where if you want to go somewhere, you better walk, or if you're lucky and have a flying bison, you can go over there. And then with the series with Korra, my problem was we saw this huge technology jump. So it's like I would probably say they're like sort of steampunkish to a degree. Like they have the like old steam cars and trains and stuff. And I guess it kind of bothered me because my issue is like whenever you start off with something being sort of like mystical and then you're like, well, now we have technology and like now all your mystical powers are useless. That kind of bugs me just a little bit because like as we saw like in the series with Korra, like if it wasn't for Korra, Kuvira was taking over. The giant mech suit she had, Benders ain't touching that shit. Like what are you gonna do? But main character syndrome and stuff, but it's only one. But I don't know. That was sort of my gripe with that. And I don't know if you ever watched I can't remember the name of the anime series, but there's one like that. It was Ninja Kamui. I think it was Ninja Kamui, where it started off with ninjas, and then it ended up them like fighting in mech suits, like fighting each other. Everyone was like, "This is trash. Why would you do that?" But going back, that's what kind of bothered me with Korra. But overall, obviously, mostly everybody loves the first series. It was the Goldest where we started, and we were like, "Damn, this is really cool." Aang. The only thing that ever annoyed me about him was like he was way too passive, but to be fair, he was raised as a monk, and he always fought with, whether I need to kill someone, whether I don't, I can always just try and like talk them down. And it's like, no, sometimes you gotta punch him in the mouth, and Aang struggled with that concept for a long time. Until at the end, when it really mattered, he learned to do that.
My favorite is when he's talking to all of the past lives, and
right,
and
kill him.
Even the Air Nomad is like, sometimes you just gotta kill. I mean,
Sokka, fan favorite. One, obviously the fact he's not a bender, but he never let that hold him back. My man was an ace with that boomerang, and as we know, he got the sword, and then he had a master, and he was a problem throughout the entire series. And even beyond that, he was a brilliant tactician, especially with how young he was. So without him, they would have struggled a lot more. You got Katara, the mom of the group, but low-key OP as hell, especially when she's pissed off and stops playing by the rules.
Right.
As we saw, she's annoying as hell. I don't get what y'all gotta say. She is one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen, bro. Like,
she had mom syndrome, bro.
Exactly. She had mom syndrome on my ass, bro. Yo, in the same series, right? She criticized Toph for betting wrong, but she stole from pirates. So what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
And we have Toph, of course. First of all, blind, but as we know, when you lose one sense, the others increase. And for her being an earthbender, amazing shit. First of all. And number two, Tell me, she invents her own bending. She's like, I need to get out of here. Bop, bop, bop. Oh shit, there's earth in this. First metal bender in history. And not only, we didn't even, the best part is she discovered it and it wasn't like, well, how do I use this? I need a trick. She's like, nah. She's like, I think I know what I'm doing. And proceeds to be a master metal bender from the moment she figures out how to do it. Hell, even at the final fight, she's like, steel armor, goes and fights firebenders. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Love it. And then, of course, we have Zuko, the redemption arc champion, is what I would like to say, because this man came from, I need my honor. I have to capture the Avatar. Be like, yo, my pops is wrong as shit, and maybe I've been doing things wrong. And Zuko's the right side. And proceeds to turn against everything that he was raised with and make the right choice and fight for good. I'm gonna stop it there for now.
Okay. I like it. But let's be real. Zuko didn't really change until he found out, oh shit, I belong to the Avatar's bloodline. That's when he was like, oh, I don't gotta do the Fire Lord. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine going to your dad like, oh, you Fire Lord? Well, I come from the Avatar, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that, what's his name? Ozai, right? No, not Ozai. It's Ozai, right? Yeah, it's the fact that Ozai, when you think about it, was trying to sacrifice this man.
Lucky.
Like, what? Like, he was about to kill him in his sleep. Like, that's just crazy. But, all right, Eric, let's go.
Ozai was just like, I hate you. I'm going to send you out on this quest that you're never going to be able to fix because we haven't seen the Avatar in 100 years. Go die in the ocean, essentially. I like both series. I hate to sound like a middle of the fence person. I think both have what they deserve. I mean, The Last Airbender by far is way better. That Team Avatar is just the best. Whereas like Team Korra is just a bunch of jocks.
Actually, yeah. No, just say that.
Yeah, it's just a team, like, which is still cool in its own merits, but like it was a good follow-up for like, hey, if you weren't crazy about like the whole friendship gets us through this entire wartime and everything, here's a bunch of teammates and just like a strong Avatar. She literally in like the first episode breaks through a wall and is doing like all three of the elements and just doesn't know air. And it's like, all right, so we're starting with she's a baby and she knows how to bend everything already. We don't have to go back through all of the learning it, which I think Aang learning is like the best. All those books being different elements that he's learning each season and everything, going through that. And Jared, you brought up like Zuko's change of heart. I love, it's like a meme on the internet too. I love Zuko. He does something good, and then for 3 episodes is practically in a coma because his body doesn't understand how to be good. Like, I don't know if you remember that. He like saves Aang, and then all of a sudden is like in a coma for 3 episodes.
He's
So
like,
like,
bro, you
maybe
got a
it's
fever.
one
From
for
what?
He's got like a fever just because he did something right. And Iroh's like, you finally get it. You finally know I'm not a bad guy, even though Iroh murdered hundreds of people as the dragon. But
He's low key a war criminal.
yeah, right. But I was since Duncan brought up like doing this on Avatar, I've been rewatching at The Last Airbender, and like some of that stuff early on, you don't even realize how right Iroh is, and he's constantly trying to like guide Zuko to the right path. But then I was confused because Bumi, Aang's friend from 100 years ago, who's like, what, he's 112 too then. Bumi, King Bumi, he has to be like over 100. He's also like good friends with Iroh because they're part of the White Lotus group.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Iroh actually? Because I never thought he was over 100, but he's got to be old too.
I mean, he's old, but he's not that old. So he is like the older brother of Ozai, right? But but when you look at the flashback, he was still old in the flashback. You know what I'm saying? So I think it has more to do with like they are picking on the whole old wisdom thing. Like Ozai is this like probably at his peak dude looking and he's arrogant. Meanwhile, his older brother, who is probably only like 5 years older than him or something like that, he's straight up like, oh, the one time you need to do, you know what I mean? Like he's that wise sage.
Yeah.
And then normally when it comes to wise sages, that's normally what happens. You know, they look old.
Right, that makes sense. But yeah, so I mean, with all of that, like I really love Last Airbender. Korra, I think it has its own merits. It's good for what it was to follow up. the metal bending just turned into police, apparently, which I think is wild. That like a whole form of bending is just the police force now.
Every firebender can lightning bend now. It's
Everyone,
common.
yeah, that's like those were rare, like because it was Azula and Zuko were like, well, Azula was a lightning bender, and then it took Zuko the whole series to learn how to even redirect it, pretty much. But I think Avatar: The Last Airbender, like being what it was, the spiritual episodes, the spiritual, like him talking to the past lives and everything, that's missing from Korra.
Mm.
And they explain it in Korra just as she broke the ties to the Avatar realm. And it's like, come on, like that was some of the best parts where you had Aang going through this like personal development thing or character development, and he goes introspective and like starts talking to past lives. How am I supposed to deal with this? He always has his past lives to rely on guidance for. And Jared, you mentioned it, like he's a monk, so and he was raised a monk up until 12, like he just is always going to be a pacifist and doesn't understand it, whereas these other ones have been through war periods where all the nations were at war together, and the Avatar was meant to bring the peace, but doesn't mean that they were a peaceful person. They had to fight these wars, and they were the strongest, and whoever they aligned with is who won. And that's why the Fire Nation was trying to hunt Aang, obviously, to get the Avatar under fire so they can just take over the world.
All right. So my kind of experience with the series is I like grew up with it. Like that was by far my favorite show on Nickelodeon, bar none. I liked more than SpongeBob and all that. That was like truly the first animated show or just show in general that was like, oh, I can't miss an episode. There's no way I missed an episode. I even tell a little story. I was at my cousin's place and like I missed like just minutes of the episode, and I've never been that mad in my entire life. like he didn't like he didn't understand the seriousness of that series finale. But yeah, that show was, it's on, like I don't think the closest thing is Korra, but even by Korra standards, like that's like just universe. Other than SpongeBob is like what people really love about Nickelodeon, and I would say really even challenges like how people see animation in terms of storytelling. Because there's a show about a pineapple, about a sponge who lives in a pineapple under the sea, and then there's a show about literal like a warscape world where there's been genocides and famine and just basically a dictatorship ruling the planet, and it's just like, this is a kid's show, right? So it's really interesting, and then you see Korra where it's the best of that world. Instead of being like run by one nation, all nations come together to say, hey, we're going to create our own city and truly be more global than anything else. And what are the ramifications of that? What are the ramifications of people who can bend and who can't bend, and how that affects the world and how that affects society as a whole? Okay. And just those themes that for a kid show, I've always enjoyed, and honestly, and even to even get to like the disabilities representation with Toph, and then with the air nomads with forgot the guy in the wheelchair who basically flying, all these different things as a kid show during that time was like beyond revolutionary, because I don't think there was, other than anime, that even touched on these things. Yeah. So it's a reason why it's one of the best. That's all I can say.
So I'm gonna talk my shit. All right. So one thing. So first of all, the worst Avatar ever wasn't even Korra. It was this dude named Seto, whatever. He was the firebending, the Fire Nation Avatar before Roku. It was Seto into Yang-Chin, into Karuk, into Kyoshi, into Roku, into Aang, right? So the Avatar was doing his job for 1,000+ years. And this month, Seto was like, I'm going to just take care of the Fire Nation. Right? Like, damn. That's why the Fire Nation was so industrialized, too, is because That's all he did. I'm gonna focus on them, right?
Oh, he basically was like everybody else.
Yeah.
Y'all figure it out.
Yeah. Started the world, he disregarded the spirits. So Yang Chen comes in, right? And Yang Chen is known, they don't say, oh my God, they say, oh my Yang Chen, right? Because she was
terrifying.
that much of a menace. Like, you would think, like, oh my God, she's a pacifist. No. If she learned, like, for example, if she had learned about the massacre of the air nomads, she wouldn't have waited until the war and the eclipse. And she would have went to Ozai's palace and ran the fade with him right there. And y'all saw that technique that what's his name?
Zahir did what
Zahir did
It's
with
like
the
she
queen.
did that.
I'm gonna take your breath away.
Mhm.
That's what she did.
So basically it would have been on some Castlevania.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm coming. No. You got a year and I'm being nice.
Yes.
I'm coming to see you.
No. And on top of it, I forgot she did something in the comics where she made some dude's organ explode or something. Like, it's like, she's crazy, bro. But Seto started the whole previous Avatar fixes. I mean, the new Avatar fixes the previous Avatar's mistakes.
Mm.
You heard nothing about that until Seto, right? The whole point was, I'm gonna bring peace. And so far, each Avatar brought peace in their own way. Seto's the only one who just said, "Fuck it, I'm not the Avatar. I'm the Fire Nation's nuke, basically." You know what I'm saying? So Yang Chen had to focus on the world, which means the spirits were disregarded. Yang Chen is known as one of the best Avatars ever because she focused on the world. But because she did that, the spirits went wild. They went crazy. So Karuk had to focus on the spirits, not the world. And he's known as the worst Avatar ever. He actually died early because of all the shit he had to go through with the spirits. They said something about, like, his whole body was just scarred, bro. Like, it was, yo. but again, it shows, and I love that it shows the different dynamic and perspective of how one Avatar actually only did half their job and is known as the best, and the other one did half their job and they're known as the worst. And then right after Karuk, guess what? Now Kyoshi got to come in, and I don't even know how the hell she lived. Was it like 200 years? Something like that. You greedy motherfucker. You stopped every Avatar cycle in that whole 200 because you wanted to be greedy and create your own shit, right? Here come Roku now, right? Everybody blame Roku for the war. It ain't his fault. He ain't predict the volcano gas would blow up in his face, right? He checked, people don't realize that was his best friend. Sozin was his best friend. And when Sozin defied him, he destroyed his house. He said, don't make me do this again.
Mhm.
Next time it won't be your house.
It's gonna be you.
And what happened? You had peace, no wars for 50 years, bro. It was like 50 years, and then volcano happened. And then people were like, oh, it was Roku's fault. Here come Aang now. Aang out here, 12 years old, master by 6, right? He's better than every. They literally said Aang was better than every airbender, period. Done, right? And you mean to tell me, right? They heard the war happening, right? Mind you, the reason why the airbenders lost is because they're passive. The war is happening. These motherfuckers said, yo, you know what we need to do with Aang? Separate him from the one motherfucker he likes around here.
Yep.
To train him to be the exact thing that nobody else is.
I'm saying, right? So now Aang's like, damn, like mind you, people think he's running from being the Avatar. No, he's running from separation. He's like, dang, like they're gonna take me away from my peoples and my master. I'm gonna leave on my own terms. Left. Lord can predict the damn worst hurricane of all time that Appa can't fucking fly through, right? But in doing that, he saved himself because let's be real. The Avatar state, especially Aang in the beginning, he had no control.
Mm-hmm.
He will destroy everybody who's around him. So if the Fire Nation attack and Aang is there, he's killing air nomads and he's killing Fire Nation people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he's still gonna die. Like the Avatar is not unlimited stamina. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So, and on top of it, it was an ambush. Remember, it was an ambush. They didn't know they were coming. So now people. Now this is where it relates to Korra. Hello. Mhm.
I saw you.
Oh, she gonna punch me in the face. Right, and
My water.
okay. So next thing I know, people are comparing Korra now. Oh, Aang created the city, right? The
Republic City.
Republic City.
Republic
Yeah.
City. Thank you. He created Republic City, and he made a mistake of not lifting up non-benders. Apparently, that's what they say. Right?
He also
Because-
stole
He
the
also
land from
stole
the
the land
Earthbenders.
He didn't even do that, bro. He didn't even do that. His dad, the Earth King, gave that land away. The Earth Queen was just a bitch. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was like, don't demonize me. But I'm just saying, like, her whole thing was that's Earth Nation land. My
Right.
father was soft. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I saved you from the war, right? Ba Sing Se went down because of you, not me. You know what I'm saying? You
never
couldn't
went down.
recognize.
There's no crime in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah. What is crime?
You got it. Shout out to Judy, though. Shout out to Judy. Shout out to Judy.
One of the things you can kind of talk about, I wanted to bring up, it kind of reminded me of the parallel to like Itachi. Itachi came from a powerful family, and he was basically separated. Like, oh, you're nasty, so you're gonna be the soldier. And it's funny how like he embraced it, and Aang was like, kind of torn away, and see like the parallels of their journeys. Like Itachi was to the point, I'm so loyal, I'm going to destroy my own family.
Yeah.
And Aang was like, wait, I just want to be a kid. Like, I just want to enjoy life. Like I want to play with my friends and just read books and like play things. And it's like, I got to be a soldier now, a thing we, never were. Like, it's just like.
Actually, when you think about it, I think Itachi was the same age as Aang. Because in Naruto, those ninjas are like preteens.
Exactly. So it's like seeing that, like those like paths, and you see how Itachi went, you see how Aang went.
Okay.
Animes do love their child soldiers.
They do.
Crazy.
They do.
To be fair, this is a genre where if you're 95, you look like a teenager, and if you're 95, you look like a kid, and if you're 5, you look like a grown ass woman. That's that, bro. That's that. So I want to ask you guys, right? In regards to the Avatar, right? Who do you think was a better Avatar, Aang or Korra?
In terms of what?
Avatar.
Oh, just Avatar. In general.
Servicing the world, or servicing the spirits, or having the best balance of both.
So it's everything. So it's like saving the world, bringing balance, bringing harmony, restoring things, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like one could argue, for example, Korra, because she brought back the spirit connection, that she brought back the airbenders. So it's like that gives her bonus points, right? At the same time, her bringing back the spirit connection caused the dark avatar. So it's like, do you counter it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about those things. Like, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, if she didn't bring back the air nomads, that was all on Aang's kids. He just had to keep pumping them out. Which he had a bunch of them, but like, he had a bunch, but like it was gonna go so slow. So I like that. But overall, my opinion, I think Aang was more of an avatar because he wanted to run away from his responsibilities, ran away, slumbered for 100 years, woke up and said, shit, this is the world I left it as because I ran away. My entire goal is to fix the wrongdoing. Korra, I don't want to do avatar stuff. I want to go have friends. Does that. Then she went and saved the world still and everything. But I think she actually went and was like, I'm going to go have a life outside of just Avatar. And Aang was like, I wasted 100 years of the Avatar, this version of the Avatar. I need to spend every moment making it right with the world.
I'm going to say Aang is better because it had a better balance of both. But also, like, to be fair, for him, like the world side was easy, honestly. It's like, hey, Aang, hey, I've been gone 100 years. What happened? Well, the Fire Nation's been wilder for the last 100 years and been slaughtering everybody. So you should probably do something about that. It's like, all right, bet. And then on the spirit side, because he was raised as a monk, he already had that fundamental understanding of how important spirits are. So remember, they went to that village where it was like the panda spirit was taking people. And when he went and found, he was like, oh, I understand why he's upset. This is what we got to do. Bam, lickety split. I know what to do.
Yeah.
They destroyed the forest. That's why he's mad. Easy. Plant some acorns. He happy now.
Yeah.
So when it came down to it, like he was just able to figure out what to do quicker. He knew how to address it and just like knocked it out. Korra, her problem was always like, especially in the beginning, she's so damn hot-headed and she doesn't listen. And that's what caused like 85% of her damn problems with a lot of issues. She just doesn't listen. And she's like, no, I'm right. I'm the Avatar. It's like, Korra, that's not how this works. Especially like since their society had progressed so much, there was far more nuance and politics involved, right? She's terrible at that. So that caused a lot of issues. Honestly, probably Aang would have been a little better with that, just because he's an airbender. So they kind of talked to like, chill out, relax. This is how we can do things. But I got to give it to Aang.
Oh, so I see it as two things. I feel like Aang has the best potential to do both because he's an airbender, because he's so in touch spiritually with himself. On top of the fact that you're right, he had like all he had to worry about was like, oh, there's just one enemy I have to worry about. That's it. But his mentality going into it, I feel like, gave him the most potential because, as you literally saw in the like last 2 episodes, everyone's like, "You need to kill him." Like, there's not even a debate. Like, why are we even talking about this? Like, just kill him. Just like there's no redeeming him. There's no other way. And I know some people might see it as a retcon, and like maybe a way out about the like island turtles or
lion turtle.
Lion turtles.
Lion turtle.
About just taking the bending away, which I feel like is very much Aang. Like that is who he is. He's like, I'm not going to kill you if I don't have to. If it's just all I need to do is take away your bending, that's what I'm going to do because like there's nothing needed past that point. But I would argue he had the best potential, but of actual execution, Korra, even though she executed it terribly, like I'm not gonna like she actually did both.
Yeah,
Aang did one very well. And granted, if he had the opportunity to do both, he probably would have done better than Korra. I'm gonna be honest. But in actual doing both, Korra did. Did she do it well? But she did do both.
Let's stop capping. Aang done killed so many people in the damn series, bro. The North Pole, the North Pole. You mean to tell me when he was part of that like animal, like the fish spirit and stuff like that? You mean to see those hundreds of soldiers drowning for their life when they attacked the Airbender temple? Did you not see soldiers and tanks falling from the cliffs? Like, come on, let's be honest, bro. That airbending slice he does. There's a reason why he had a nightmare about it, because he was off so many people with that shit, bro. Like, let's be honest.
But he was talking about Ozai though. Like, out of anybody who needed to go, Ozai needed to go.
I know, but let's be real though. Ozai wasn't able though. His brother didn't check him. No, his wife didn't check him.
First of all, his wife could have.
His wife could have. She couldn't. No.
You acting like she had a choice.
She had a choice. She had a choice because she killed his damn father. The wife killed the father. Remember that, right? She killed the father to make sure Zuko could. Yeah, exactly. She slept with the motherfucker, right? You mean to tell me you could have off him right there, but you could off his granddaddy? Are you serious, bro? Let's be honest. Ozai was enabled. His brother could have checked him anytime, but he was in depression over his son.
Wait, but didn't even the Iroh say like he was the most?
No, don't believe Iroh. You don't believe that? Iroh was being humble. All right, I'll put it better. The day of the Black Comet, right? This nigga breathed in and breathed out, and a whole fire mess was just spewing up for breath. So you mean to tell me he couldn't handle, like, he created him and Zhong, right? Zhong created a firewall the size of the entire street and met with each other. Are you serious? Right? And right? Guess who don't know how to redirect lightning? Ozai.
Mhm.
True.
Guess who does? Iroh, who created
but
the
did-
damn redirect lightning.
Did you
technique.
forget how Ozai pulled up? He was like, no help. He could have got an army of firebenders to do what he did with the blips. He was like, nah, I'm gonna show you how the king does it.
Did he?
Solo.
No. Did he learn from the dragons? All right, there we go.
But that's my point. He didn't even learn from the giant. He showed up and was like, I'm him. You're gonna see why I'm the most powerful firebender.
Ozai is a person. No, let me not even say that. Ozai is the person that has a button, right, for a nuke. Iroh is a person who has the aim, precision, and button for a nuke, and decides not to use it. That's the difference between those.
He himself
Right.
is the nuke.
To be fair, he did have the title Dragon of the West.
Mhm.
Ozai didn't have any
Like the
titles.
last
To be fair.
person, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Also, to be honest, I was he was in the streets. He wasn't he wasn't sitting in the general's thing. He was like, no, I'm boots on the ground.
Mhm.
this man,
At least in the Earth Kingdom.
this man Iroh was locked up for what, like 2-3 months.
Got jacked
Yeah.
Went from
Shredded.
jack to jack,
on
right?
apples and bread.
Mhm.
and his
all the prison work.
mind you, right? Even the prisoners and everything said he was like a monster. We couldn't stop him because he warned that lady. He said, I think you should leave
Mhm.
and enjoy your day away from here.
Mhm.
And then Zuko went to go get him. Nah, we couldn't stop him, bro. Couldn't stop him. He was like a monster. And mind you, right? This is the same dude who looked at Azula and just did this. Bump. She's gone now. She's gone. He used the belly. He was bam, and now she's gone now. Azula, right? Which reminds me, again, Aang is a menace. Aang is a menace because this man went on top of the wall of Ba Sing Se, drove down at the speed of sound toward that pike, and you saw Azula fly, which was probably a mile away, and she survived. You know that's what's it called? That's a plot hole right there. That's a plot hole right there because that's death.
Plot
That is
armor.
death. Man. Look, all right.
This may be a tangent. I would have loved to see angry Katara versus Azula.
Mm.
Azula would have died.
When Katara's like,
Katara wins. Katara wins.
I'm not talking. I'm not here to like on some Black Spider-Man, the symbiote spot. Like, there's no jokes today. Just hands.
You know,
Like,
Katara wins because almost every matchup they met with each other, Azula gets help to get out of Katara's traps.
Mm.
Like just in Ba Sing Se, she did like the tentacle shit, the water tentacle. Grabbed Azula, was like, bet, I got you now. Started to almost fold her. Zuko came to help her.
Mm.
Then when she started to cheat because she couldn't defeat Zuko in time, it was her versus Katara. And Katara got her in the trap. Boom, bam, you're frozen. Now I can move in the ice and shit. I never seen that before in my life. Moved in the ice, right? Chained her up in the ice. Guess what? She couldn't do shit. You couldn't light no fire or nothing. You know what I mean? But now, right, because we talk about Aang a lot in that. Korra. I keep telling people what people disliked about Korra, if you exclude season 1, because it wasn't her fault off rip, right? At the same time, like, let's be real, the fact that you got airbending when it was convenient, bullshit. But when after season 1 and season 2, season 3, season 4, you created every single villain you made.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, your dad and your teacher told you, do not trust your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
He is up to something. This is the same man who brought in troops to create a civil war, right? Season 3 was Zahir and them, right? Yeah. Season 3, You bringing back the spirit portals, right? Made Sahir an airbender, which nobody was prepared for. So that's how he escaped. Nobody was prepared for that. And then it let him free everybody else. So that whole you getting poisoned and everything, still on you. Then here comes Kuvira. Kuvira is the effect of two things. One, Zahir, because you killed the queen, right? And now Boston says, what do you call that kind of environment?
Police state?
No, because there's no police anymore. There's nothing. There was no government. I forgot what it's called. Anarchy. There you go.
Anarchist.
So it was an anarchist state. And then Kavira had to go in there and save it. And Kavira was doing fine, right? She wasn't crazy or nothing. But guess what she had then? Those spirit minds now. That you brought it. So now she got a giant transformer who's shooting holes in mountains, right? And then now we want to look at it like, oh yeah, Korra saved the day. Korra caused the day.
Mhm.
All right. There's like those Power Rangers who show up, do they pose, right? Blow shit up, and you just found out they blew up 2 people. And then all because you brought them to the hospital don't mean you the good guy today. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on with that? I think Korra. I loved Korra because she does grow as a person. I disliked her because when she grows, she then regresses again.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
But I would argue that's the same thing with Zuko. Zuko grew, and then as soon as he had the opportunity to get his dad's affection, he was like, "I'm gonna take it." Like,
Yeah, but hold up. That's different. That's different because that's something he longed for since he was a baby.
Mhm.
Right? I want to be accepted by my dad. And then when he had to choose between the good and something he's longed for the entire life, he chose the entire life. But when he got it, he realized, shit, this ain't worth it. Which is why he kept going back to his uncle, like, why did you join me? Why did you say something to me, talk to me, da-da-da? Because he knew, like, damn, I chose wrong. I don't know how to fix that. And then look what happened. Threatened his dad, right? Almost redirected light. I think it was redirected lightning to his dad, right? He said, I could have killed you. That's not my job, though.
Mhm.
So, see, this is why I hate Zuko, too, though, a little bit. You could have ended the war right there, too. You know what I'm saying? Your dad didn't know you could redirect lightning. So it's like, a lot of people could end it. Iroh could have ended the war. Zuko could have ended the war. The mom could have ended the war. Who else is there? The fish spirit. Fuck it. The moon spirit. Yeah, the moon spirit could end the war. Think about it. What's his name? Fuck. Damn. Sokka. Yo, X is the moon. Just asking for the moon to be out all day.
Right.
That's it. And get all the water benders. Fuck them up.
That's
come on,
I
bro.
was saying they should just, instead of playing on a eclipse planet on a supermoon, and be like,
Yes.
and be like, I was thinking about this honestly while you were talking, thinking about like if Katara and Azula were to fight, what would be the best environment or weather?
Yeah.
It'd be like a raining thunderstorm,
Yes.
and like that would be crazy. But like if they did do that, they could stay, but they can still do fire at night though. So like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make the firebenders weak. It just only makes the waterbenders strong.
No, it's two things.
Now,
they
granted,
still
if
get
they got
power
that
from
blood bending, then yeah,
They still get power from the sun. You
Like-
feel me? They still get some power from the sun. That's why Zuko says, "I rise with the sun, you rise with the moon." You know what I'm saying? My thing is, Aang could have ended this season 1. All right, fuse with the fish spirit, walk your ass down to the Fire Nation, make it go from a Fire Nation to just a small island.
I mean,
and you're good.
one of my favorite scenes of them just walking into places when they walked in. I think it was walked into the castle, and it's just like them all flowing perfectly, and it's just like they're
On
literal
Earth Kingdom,
playlists. Yeah,
Yeah,
They was what
They were just like,
before
we
being
don't
an
shut
army,
up. They just
and they
walk
won.
in. And they did that. Like, they were like, "Oh, y'all thought you were gonna stop me? That's cute."
They had an army, guys. They had an entire army of actual soldiers and the Daily, and they
What's up?
still couldn't stop them. Toph alone made them look weak as hell. And that little move she did where it was like that was tough.
The best part about that too is like it's like Aang and Toph are after like taking care of most of the Earthbenders. Katara's like taking people out, and then Sokka's in the back with like a boomerang. He's like, yeah. It's getting like 1 or 2 guys every 2 seconds. Like, ah! But nah, that was great. Honestly, if I was the Earth King, right, and I heard my entire army got taken out by Team Avatar, and they rolled my door, I'm like, what y'all want? What's going on? Like, what happened? Why y'all so mad at me?
12-year-olds.
And then your kids, it's like, hold up. Let's talk about this. Clearly,
Something's wrong with our military. Something at a functional level is wrong.
So Eric, I'm gonna ask you this, right? Because you just rewatched Avatar.
Mhm.
Do you think the Masters could have done something differently? Like,
Avatar?
so like the waterbend, the North Pole Master, Zhang, Iroh, Boomy. Technically, Toph's a master at that point too,
I would argue.
but she doesn't. She's not old master. you know?
Oh no! Team Avatar are just full of because
No, now they are. I'm
No,
saying like,
Mhm.
but like, think about this: when Katara pulled up to the North Pole,
uh,
she basically challenged the head teacher, like, "Oh, you ain't gonna teach women? I'll beat your fucking ass." And then that's it. He's like, "You can do it with an audience or without an audience." But you
That
think
was
you ain't gonna teach women? Let me come see you.
no, but that's my thing. Is like you see their skill,
It's
right?
ridiculous.
and then later on you find out, oh, they're part of the White Lotus, right? I get that. But why? All right, just to put in perspective, the White Lotus is a monster. They took Ba Sing Se
Mhm.
from all the Fire Nation, and the Fire Nation was amped. Right? It wasn't
Mhm.
just Iroh and Zhang. The whole entire Fire Nation was amped,
Yeah.
and they still took it with ease. So what prevented them from doing that early in the series, bro?
Mhm.
What could they have done different? Even if it's something like, oh, we undercover for a little bit because you saw those 3 Fire Nation people. I get it, but what do you think they could have done different?
I mean, it's definitely they were waiting for Aang to get better, get real world experience. This is the war we're fighting, and understand the actual like cruelty of the world they're in right now. And they're like, all right, buddy, we could teach you basics or something, but you have your own team. All of them are going to be stronger than every single one of the White Lotus at some point. I think they knew that his team, because historically, I feel like Team Avatar, if there's people traveling with them, they become the strongest of whatever element they wield. For the most part, I feel like in the past you've seen it, but like they're like, all right, cool. Toph, first off, was like his original master with earthbending, and then he learned a little bit more. But then, like, she just created metal bending. Was like, all right, I'm your master now forever. But yeah, the old masters. I mean, they could have taught Aang better when they first were teaching, but I think obviously it's a plot armor thing. Like they needed the story to go on. They needed him to fail at bending. They needed Katara. They needed Katara to become so strong with her healing factor with the water and then learning blood bending. I think honestly, you had mentioned people who could have ended the war. Once Katara learned blood bending, she should have gotten on Appa, flown over to the Emperor's palace, and just stopped his heart. Game over. We're done.
I completely agree. Because, like, honestly, if Zuko just said, yeah, now my dad had a hand in it, and just be like, when is it raining in the Fire Gate? And just show up, like, it would have probably been the closest equivalent to a one bending Avatar. Because she would have walked, like, people would have been like, are they what? Like, why are people rising?
That dang witch, the one that taught her the blood bending and shit,
Mhm.
cold water out the air and the flowers.
Mhm.
You could have ended the war.
Yeah.
She could have.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
then again, she was locked up.
You maybe
Once she
think about
found
that.
out she could bloodbend that dude to get out of prison, I
Mhm.
would have went straight to Ozai's house.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Well,
because the thing is with bloodbending, especially people are like, oh, well, you can control their bodies. Like, bro, you can do more than that. Like, if you want to be just like evil, like you can rip the blood out of people if you really want to.
I mean,
You can execute people left and right.
That's
I
why
mean, they could have sucked like she could have sucked all the water out of all the soldiers.
Mhm.
If you were evil, motherfucker, and you got bloodbending, you're kind of unstoppable.
Yeah.
With the water.
That's what I would argue is probably the most bending. I would argue the most destructive subbending is combustion.
Mhm.
It's a pure destruction.
Mhm.
Combustion.
I can, yeah, I can see that because we as the viewer can see the little pew pew pew. They can't,
Mhm.
right? So I admit that actually, if you had to pick, but here's the thing now. So ready?
See, I wish they did something different where they had an avatar, but the avatar could only bend the sub bending types. Like so instead of like Earth Wind Dame, like they could energy bend instead of air bend. They could lightning bend instead of fire bending, metal bend instead of earth bend, and blood bend instead of water bend. And
Ain't that just kind of loaded up with cheat codes, though?
Because I think like in the Avatar Seven Heavens, like they're the avatars are twin. So imagine that's the other side of the twin, and then they have like basically, even though Korra did it badly, if they revamped it and like it's like dark avatar versus light avatar, they're twins and they have to fight, and that's how they have to compete.
Mhm.
Like one has the traditional 4 elements, and one, because they were had to work with the sub elements because they were actually supposed to be the one, but then something happened. And just having that fight truly go, and it could be like literally to make it full circle.
Mm.
One's fighting for the people, one's fighting for the spirits, and who comes out on top.
That'll be
Okay.
Mhm.
That's my pitch.
That's,
right
no,
now.
that's pretty good. I don't think the Dark Avatar thing should exist though because Unalaq died.
True.
So what was it, Batu? Yeah, Batu. Batu would have been. I think he's sealed still. Like he's sealed, right?
I think so.
No. I think he got destroyed actually.
Might have.
But I think low key. What if it was some fucked up shit where it's like the twin got all the recovered Avatar pieces, and then the other one has Korra, and that's it. That's all they got. like, and then on top of that is like, and nothing against Korra, because by that time I think she'll be like 70, 80. So she'll probably be wise. You know what I'm saying? My thing is like the Avatar wisdom tree, they never give answers, they give suggestions. And that suggestion is always in the form of a riddle. Even though Yang Chen was a freaking menace, her thing was like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Wasn't Kyoshi. Her thing was, I felt like it. Right? And then Roku's was,
I don't want to fight.
don't live with
my best
something you will
friend.
regret. You know what I'm saying? Don't live
You
with
gotta
something
make
you
a
will regret.
choice. Yeah.
I
So
also
even though we as the viewer looked at all of that like kill them, their whole thing was you could,
Mhm.
I would have,
Yeah.
but it's up to you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
So I have a question for everybody. Do you think the Lion Turtles was
Like,
an
yeah, the spirits
important
in the
retcon to happen for the story, narratively speaking? Like giving Aang another option, or do you think it would have been better for the story for him to actually just kill Ozai and seeing the ramifications of that happening?
I think it would have made Korra more interesting if he had killed Ozai and we saw the after effects of that.
I don't think they had Korra in mind at that point. So it
No,
was
they don't.
what would Aang do he really doesn't want to kill. He's constantly pushing. I'm not going to murder this man. And they're like, we got to give him an out. So I think it was like absolutely what you said, David. Like they had to just give him an out. That was like, all right, if you're not going to kill, here's option number 2.
That's fair. I mean, you could say it's a comic, but also at the same time, it fits with him because besides the Lion Turtles, they're technically sages too because how old they are. Like it completely understood where Aang was coming from. It was like, I get that you're a gentle person, you were raised as a monk, and he's like, bet I got the perfect solution for you, and it's only $1.99. Like, just hold a second, touches his forehead, and teaches him the next step.
It gets a little tiring though, low key. Like, when you think about it, that's almost all the animes now is like the peace-loving person finds a way to like still be peaceful in the end. I don't want that shit. Like I said, Aang done got 100,000 bodies on him off rip.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You didn't show it, but we know it. Same thing with what was that? What's that dude's name? Yeah, it was the Power Rangers. You mean to tell me the whole city evacuated? I just saw people running around while they were, normal size. So when they transform into Megazord and they hit that dude with a big boot, and that dude destroys a whole 6 blocks, everybody evacuated.
Right.
That's why you don't see those people anymore. They had funerals. So it's like, to me, I hope, like, the one thing I like with Korra is her thing was arrogance and patience. This is what I love about Korra. She ended with patience and rational thinking. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Aang started as a pacifist who didn't want war to a pacifist who still didn't want war, but was more powerful. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he grew as a person because he didn't change who he was. Nothing changed. Hey, right? He experienced stuff, but nothing changed his decision making. Korra had to change her decision making because she realized I'm causing the same issues I'm running into. You know what I'm saying? This new avatar, I pray to God, is the same way. Where, because apparently, like, because she's disabled, there are people that's going to challenge her for being disabled. And if she's a peace-loving person, I want to see her whoop their ass. No cap. That's what I want. I want to see somebody actually grow and actually have to do something they didn't want to do, but have to do.
See, I was going to bring up this point earlier when you mentioned Aang killing, because it kind of reminded me of I'm watching Daredevil. I don't know if y'all watch him too. Especially with this new season. Yeah.
Oh shit! I gotta change that. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Oh dang! I can't mention it then. Never mind.
I mean, is it like a major spoiler?
Huh?
Is it a major spoiler?
I
haven't watched the new one, but if you could go back to the first series before this one, when Frank Castle was talking to Daredevil, and he's like, you put them in a cell and they're out on the street next month. I put them down for good.
Yeah, and honestly, that was one of my favorite, because I'm Team Punisher. I'm like, nah. If you there's certain people you can't change. Like that's why, like, me and my cousin loves Batman, and I always tease him, like, why is he not just taking out the Joker? Like, he could. There's so many ways he could just incapacitate the Joker, but chooses not to. And I'm just like, he's not. It's not like he can't figure it out. He's one of the smartest people on planet Earth.
Right.
He can figure out a way just to, like, make sure Joker doesn't do anything. You know.
Juicy, sorry. There's an echo because sometimes I'm not muting when we're talking because we're going through a speaker, so that's why you're getting feedback. But all right, before we end this, I kind of want to do two things. One, I want to ask you guys whose villains were stronger, and do you think they can run the gauntlet of that other person's villains? And then lastly, what do you want to see in this new Avatar? So we're going to answer them simultaneously. So Jared, start us.
So based off of what I've heard, because of the cataclysm, everything kind of has reverted back to it. I'm assuming to a degree. So we're probably going to get stuff closer to Aang's series, which makes me happy. But what I would be interested to see is like, since she's going to have like a long lost twin, like is her twin like, what if her twin is evil, or she got raised by like the wrong people or something like that, and now it's like you have to try and bring her back to the right side so we can bring harmony into the world again. That would be interesting, because they could easily just go like, oh, well, we found your sister, and it's like, yay. It's like, no, make her evil, or at least at minimum, make her just like a bandit, not like necessarily evil, but she's just doing what she wants for her, and then she has to convince her sister to come back. That would be really cool for me personally.
Yeah.
All right, and then who do you think had the more powerful villains, and can that other person run through that gauntlet?
All right. So if we go over that end, let's see. Aang had Fire Lord Ozai at the time, like at least number 1 or 2 strongest firebenders that exist at the time. He also had, who are his other villains?
General Zhao.
Zhao's a bitch. He's not. He's a bitch. He wasn't really an op. Azula was problematic. Because she had her own team avatar. When we really think about it.
Anti-Avatar.
Yeah. And they were problematic. But let's see. I think Korra would have a little bit of trouble with Ozai. Mainly because she doesn't know how to deal with lightning, I don't think. So, but she does have metal bending, so that would probably be her hardest fight. General Zhao's a bitch. She's trashing him. He's going to the dumpster 100%. Against Azula and her squad, I think actually she would beat the shit out of Ty Lee and May, because they have to get in close and like, yo, Korra's a brawler, like straight up, in my opinion.
You see those muscles? Like
she's jacked. So like, unlike everyone else, Korra's like punching one of them in the mouth and they go like real talk, in my opinion. She's beating the shit out of them. Azula, I think she's beating Azula with relative. I think it'd like, damn, how would I scale the fight? I would say there would be a bit of a struggle, but she's beating Azula, in my opinion.
Jared,
Yeah.
I'm just pointing this out. Every fight that Korra has lost to isn't to a more powerful person, it's to an agile person. Just hands up.
Ty Lee. I see the reference in there.
True, but like if against Ty Lee and May, right, with no bending, I think she still can beat them.
Well, I think if Ty
raw
Lee
physical strength wise,
if Ty Lee was to cut off her chi, Korra can still throw punches. She can throw fists and beat the crap out of her. Now she's fast.
You don't think so? Remember, Ty Lee's chi block is a body block too. So she has you paralyzed. Remember what? Mind you, Sokka can't bend, right? Got it. Boom, boom, boom. Now he can't use his arms. Remember, he had to use his head. You know what I'm saying? So remember that all these chi blockers that Korra had to face season 1 are failures in comparison to Ty Lee.
That's fair.
That's a good point. But at the same time, I feel like, so like Aang, once again, because of how he fights, he's not necessarily going to try and like take you out or disable you. Korra, I think, is 100% going to hit like Ty Lee with a rock. Like straight up just hit her with that shit and take her down like real quick. She's not going to play like the dancing game that Aang likes to play when he's fighting people. She's like, bro, all right, you're a problem. Let me just put you on your ass for a minute. So in that respect, I think she'll be able to take them out. And like May, she's an assassin who throws knives, right? If I'm being like Rockwall. Rockwall. You can't touch me anymore. But honestly, also, I think she'd probably just end up killing Azula, because like she would realize pretty quick that Azula's just straight up problem. She's like, all right, yeah, this isn't something we can arrest. She's like, she gotta go. So
yeah, no, she could. Azula is what Kavira is. They're prodigies. They're nimble prodigies with fast attacking moves. That's why I don't feel like Korra would destroy her, because Aang fought power with agility. Korra loses to agility majority of the time, right? So I feel like she would actually beat Ozai, but she would lose to somebody like Azula.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we switch them, and going through her gauntlet, he already knows how to deal with bloodbending, so I'm pretty sure he can find a chi blocker without much of an issue, if I'm being honest. Unalaq, that would be an interesting fight, honestly. Him versus Unalaq.
Mm-hmm.
And Aang can spirit bend too. So I think Aang's beating him too. Zahir, technically, Aang couldn't just fly like Zahir, so no, that wouldn't really matter. Aang's already a great airbender anyway. Yeah, he might be just walking her gauntlet with ease.
And remember, he could fly. He had his glider,
Right?
and he
but
could
he couldn't need a glider.
under.
Though.
He couldn't
could
do
just,
it. Yeah, he was just doing it. Yeah.
So Aang might just walk her gauntlet just because of his skill set.
You have me bouncing back and forth on it because I'm like, I can see Korra taking on a lot of Aang's villains, but with Duncan, what you're saying with the agility, I think Korra bending versus bending, like two benders, she's just fighting another bender. I think she'll win flat out because she's got the subclass bending too with metal bending. I'm sure she's got the ability to learn lightning bending. They just didn't tackle it in the show. If she can do metal, I feel like she'd be able to do lightning bending too. So, but then what you're saying with like Ty Lee and everything too, yeah, she's very much a brawler style where like if you're going to like D&D classes, she's a barbarian and Aang is an actual monk in that like the way they fight. And he's nimble and he doesn't go for the kill shots. I can see her absolutely going for the kill shots right away. Like she's not going to hold back. She's got a fighting mentality. She joined a sport that's bending fighting. Like she's joined a boxing team, a 3v3 boxing team pretty much. Like so I think bending versus bending, she would win most of Aang's villains. Then agility, she probably wouldn't do great with. Aang, I think, would struggle with Korra's. But at that point, he has energy bending. So worst case scenario, zoop, you're done. You can't even bend anymore. Like, and then you're emotionally just lost because that's in that world. That's the big difference is bending versus non-bending. Like it's a class struggle. And once you take away someone had bending their entire life and now they don't, they're like, what is my life anymore? So I think he could just destroy people emotionally and mentally.
Now, remember, we saw that actually happen with things. What was it?
The cop.
No, not the sister. No. When he stopped the father, when he escaped from jail, remember? Or not jail, court. He was trying to bloodbend Aang. Aang was like, nah, forget that. Avatar state, bam.
Yeah.
Took his bending away and was like, I'm going to just let you live. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
And he retreated to the, I think, North or South Pole and was just like, shit, yeah, like like he got facial resurgery and shit. Like he didn't know who he was anymore, bro.
Right.
That was bad. So David actually brought up that it would be a close fight for Zahir and Aang. What do y'all think about that?
I mean,
explain yourself.
Because Zahir, like, he is very much offensive. Like, he uses airbending offensively, basically, all the time with the assistance of martial arts.
Okay.
And because that is such an inverse to Aang, I would love to see just an airbending battle of that level of just offensive versus defensive. So you get to basically see the whole totality of airbending's capability.
Okay.
But through two fighters.
Okay.
Including the flying, which I know that probably would have pissed Aang off. Like, wait, you could fly and I can no.
See, I got him. You know why? Because again, one, Tenzin is a lesser Aang. And Tenzin was folding Zahir.
He was
by himself.
He was, to be fair.
Two, Aang has the ability to fly and refuses to access that because he wants to love Katara.
True.
Because remember, as soon as he let go of Katara, what did he start doing in Ba Sing Se? Flying. Remember that. But then he got hit by lightning, so it was like, damn. But yeah, no.
Yeah, that for me is so interesting. Also, something you mentioned to Jared, I was going to bring up as well, talking about like if there's a twin like one of them got kidnapped. That's why I was kind of going along. Like, imagine they got kidnapped, but they got kidnapped by like the evil version
The
of
Red Lotus again?
Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
like they got kidnapped by the Red Lotus, and they learned like I said, learn combustion and lava bending, and like all the crazy cheat codes, and then she comes to like save him, like as the Avatar, learning, mastered all 4 elements, and then she realized like, wait, like you're not the only person who can master elements, and then just that reveal, and just be like, and just like imagine, and just like imagine like you're finding your twin that you literally tried so hard to save, and then she just got completely corrupted into just an evil being of just pure power.
That's pretty good.
And like that's what I'm saying. Like it was like just imagine like fight like it's like, oh, I do earthbending, I turn it into lava and swim it back. And you're just like, what? and then it's just like, oh, I'm gonna do airbending and I'm gonna just dodge it through pure flight. And just like literally counteracting all of them. And then it's like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, and then you get close, and then she starts to energy, but it's like, wait, what? And then like just literally using like all the tactics that all the subbending styles have to like counteract the normal 4 would just be such an interesting fight to have.
That's pretty good. I'll give you that. That's pretty good.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. We gotta ask though. What bender would y'all be? And why?
Ooh. No cap. Water. Water. Not. And don't get me wrong. Cool wise, Earth. Because no matter what, I'm gonna have a job. No matter what, I'm gonna have a job, right? You need a new road, pay me my millions, right?
Houses are expensive.
Water is like,
Make them.
they're able to manipulate the water, right? So I will never be thirsty because I can see ocean water and go, bet, let me just take the water and leave the salt. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Also, it's the fact that like, nigga, you know what I mean? Like, come summertime, I can make my own ice cubes. You know what I mean? But I mean, water I think would probably be the most. Oh, and you know, you don't drown because you could ski on the water basically, so you don't gotta be a fear of drowning. And then if I get, let's say I end up in like a airplane situation where I gotta jump out of an airplane, I can do what Aang did and scoop the water up to me, so I'm not hitting just flat surface water. It's just like I'm gradually going through the water. So safety wise, it's definitely water. But that earth though, I could build a house. I could build my own ramp or something. You know what I mean? Oh, you want a fence? I'm gonna pick water. I'll pick water.
What about you, David?
I'm like, I want to go water too, but since you chose water, I'm gonna say this with the caveat: fire bending, but also with combustion powers as well. Like if I could do the totality of fire bend, like fire, lightning, and combustion, that's what I would do. Because fire bend, I can fly. I can just use his jet
propulsion.
The Iron Man pose.
and then also like if you have rock, I'm just like lightning. It's going to destroy it. And then if that doesn't work, combustion.
He'd be part of the demolition crew, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It needs to be destroyed. He just I think combustion needs like you need to like I think that's a religion, isn't it?
Also, yeah, it's like a
Because they all have the eye shit.
Yeah, it's like a process you have to go through.
Yeah.
I think it was like something along the lines of like they literally had to be like almost drowning for them to like. It was like something. Yeah, it was crazy. It was like something along those lines that they had to basically like put themselves in a serious enough training to like unlock it. Which, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But like, other than like water bending, because water bending you have like blood bending, just take all the water out
And healing.
and healing. Combustion, I feel like it's like the inverse of that. It's like you have all pure destruction. Like fire, burning everything, lightning, burning, and also just breaking things.
He did that learn from Zuko. He did not learn. Fire is alive, and that you can be safe.
Yeah, there's an energy.
It's just warmth.
You know, it's also energy. An explosion.
All right, I can see that though. I can see that. All right, what about you, Eric?
For me, it's got to be fire because one, like, if you go on a practical aspect, right? I can open a cooking shop, bro. I can be cooking stuff in the back because I got my own fire. I don't need wood. I just got meat. So if I get good at like grilling and shit, hey, Jared's meat shop. Like we got me all sorts of steak, sausage, everything. I'm cooking that up. Combat wise, fire it's just cool to me. I love that shit. Because and I have to have it, of course, with lightning. I don't need combustion because personally, while combustion is extremely powerful, all I gotta do is poke you in your forehead and you blowing the fuck up. Or if I wrap something around your head like we saw, you blowing the fuck up real quick. So it's like, I feel like combustion bending is like a big risk for a big reward. Great offense. But once someone goes, dunk, boom, it's over. It's over. And I don't want that. And I know, like, for fire bending, like, you could say, like, oh, a metal bender could, like, mess with you. I'm like, all right, hear me out, though. It's like, they do the metal armor thing like Toph, right? Bro, all I gotta do is heat up that metal enough, and you cooking inside.
You got a roasted Toph.
Yeah. And on the opposite of that, you're covered in metal. I'm hitting your ass with lightning and cooking you. Right. And also, like, I always thought about it, too. If I had lightning bending, bro, I'm spamming that shit. Fuck fire bending. I'm a lightning bender. Left, right, like lightning blast, lightning blast. I'm spamming non-stop.
I would argue lightning bending is one of the most underrated bending styles in the entire series. Like what? Like, wait, you can lightning bending too, and that's not what you lead with?
Right.
It's basically a one-shot kill.
So
literally, like you don't even have, like you don't even. It's not even need to be a fight. It's just like, oh, okay, dodge. Over.
Doesn't need time to charge up though.
Oh, you just go through the motion. It's like 3 seconds.
Listen. If I'm a bender and I see you doing some shit like this, I'm
you're busy
moving.
throwing your attack. You throw your attack. I'm dodging, and then my thing. Because all you need is one tiny opening. That's all you need. And then as soon as you have a time, like a sniper, like.
Okay, I'll give you that, but I'm just saying I haven't seen one person just go beer him. They be doing.
I would argue though it's like hand signs and Naruto, right? With enough practice, you can probably do it really quick.
Yeah.
So it's like just rehearse.
Look, Kakashi did his shit fast. Guess what I did? I could see that shit, so I'm gonna move. Right? I'm just saying, like, once you do this, I'm gone. Like, all this shit don't even matter. I'm gone already. And I'm in the water. I'm in the rock behind me. Like, you know what I mean?
I also feel like you can make fire weapons though. Like, no one tried. I don't know if it's possible, but I don't know if I feel like if you concentrated enough firepower, you could make a fire sword for a little bit. I don't know. Maybe
I'm trying to make lightsabers over there.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe a little bit.
Technically, you might be able to do that because this is just pulling out my real nerd bag. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, also has lightning powers, and he created a lightning sword, so that might be possible.
Lightning sword, I can understand conductivity, everything like that. Fire sword, you have to make a material that's fireproof. Like it can catch a flame, but it won't burn from it. So you gotta do that. All right, Eric, what you got?
I could think of a practical use for all of them. This one's rattling around my head. If you were an airbender and you just go to a bar, you make someone gasp, and you're like, did I just steal your breath? And yes, I did, and that's fucked up. But I would say, I also like, if you really want to break the system, you could say earthbending can control like everything. There's minerals in water. Like you were talking about the salt water. I could just move the salt with the water, and maybe some of it moves with it, but not breaking the world that way. I don't think they ever have done that in the anime, so I would never say that that's it. But I like firebending a lot too. I think I will go with airbending though. I think the flight with that is cool to have that like little power glider, the little ball that Aang does to move, And then the fighting style is cool too. I like how it's just like it's very monk. It's hand to hand with like the air push with it too. It's kind of you can do kind of like the Jujutsu Kaisen punch that Itadori does with like the additional like blast punch. His like black fist is like he punches and there's a second impact. I feel like you could do that with the air. You could hit him and then move him with the air as well. Second impact.
Blades of Wind, stealing people's
Blades
breath.
Yeah, steal people's breath away. You can deflect, I feel like, all the other elements too, pretty well with that. Like just put yourself in the ball and then water's bouncing off of it, fire is. Electricity might go through, lightning might shock through that. That's and metal. It's like metal bending was created in America. You know those fools were just making little bullets and just
Metal bending guns.
Yeah, I'd go with air though. I think I'd have to go with that one. I like that a lot.
You're gonna be flying with bugs in your teeth. I forgot somebody said that. They was like, if you actually free fly, like even at a lower to high altitude, the amount of bugs that will smack you. And it's not like a small smack. It's like you get hit with like hard pellets. They're just like just on you, bro. I don't think I would say that. Say cheese.
I'm here to help. Bug all over the face.
Oh my god. Nah, that'd be bad. That'd be bad. All right. So, dang. Okay. Okay. We kind of went off a little bit. But all right, guys, that is the end of Code Red Anime Avatar series episode. We appreciate y'all for tuning in with us, man. Hopefully this new Avatar ends up breaking our expectations.
Just crossed.
Of course, you know how social media is. No one's gonna find an issue with something. So don't even listen to social media. Don't go based off their reviews. Don't do none of that. Watch it for yourself. Is it coming on Nickelodeon? Or it's probably coming on something.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be on like Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that's all it is.
We all know that. It probably going to do that. But hey, in order to catch up, go watch Avatar, go watch Legend of Korra. Come back to this video and tell us what you think. You know, who was the better Avatar? Who accomplished more? What do you like and dislike about the characters, et cetera, et cetera. As you can see, we all have different opinions. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us better. With that being said, guys, you got anything else to say?
No, thanks for having me on you guys' podcast. This was fun. I would love to do this again for any other things. If you guys do a Invincible episode, I've read the comics.
Me too.
So we could talk about like the differences between that and also if anybody's caught up. Next episode, get your popcorn because Mark is about to get his ass whooped like we've never seen. It's just what it is.
Oh man! All right, Jared.
I actually don't have anything to add today. Actually.
Okay, because Jared be adding some bullshit like just a boop doop doop or something like that.
Last time I
It'd be
said
like,
watch it. That's what I said last time.
Yeah. Some people don't. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? All right, Eric, any last words?
No, great episode. Always happy to rant about Avatar.
All right, guys. Catch us next time. This is again the normal time. We're probably going to be on Saturday at 4. I would always make an announcement to let you guys know when we're going to be on. Okay, it's not an every week thing, especially because like the way things are moving, especially anime wise. Some things are kind of in a hiatus, and I think the last thing you want us to do is talk about the same thing that you see all these other anime shows talk about, where it's like they mention the same thing every episode. And We're not doing that. So, man, with that being said, we wish you guys nothing but the best, and we hope you have a good one.